Good morning, Anna. Good morning. I'd pet you, but both my hands are full. All right, this is gonna be a big day. I've already had myself a workout and a shower, and not a workout in the shower. A workout and a shower. We've got some more rain coming tonight, and we're already about a month behind. So we're gonna see how many acres we plant today. My goal is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 400, and I'll do the math when I get in the tractor, like 430 acres. We're gonna see if we can get that done today. As you can see, there's still no shed there from the tornado damage, but it's getting a little bit cleaner. And that grain bin is still kind of crumpled up. I hope I'm here to get that on video when they come and clean that up. Okay, breakfast. Impact with the 24 and a grease gun. Before we fire it up, I've noticed the last couple days a couple of these gauge wheel tension adjustment bolt thingers have loosened up. And one of them came so loose it actually bent the bolt and folded the wheel back. So I'm gonna double check on all of those before I fire it up and grease everything. Here's one. See, when I lift it up where it runs, it should not have all that play. So we're gonna pull that play out of it. And I'm gonna show you the other issue I found on another wheel. All we gotta do is spin this bushing a little bit and then snug that bolt back up. Much better. But that's an issue. And it's probably the culprit of the squeaky sound I thought I heard late last night as I was finishing up. Drop the shims. 1, 2, thought there should be 3. There it is. Got it. That one's not too tight. Little piece of old barbed wire. Well, that's not even that old, actually. That's fairly fresh. Maybe we should sell that on our online store. Buy a t-shirt and you get a free chunk of barbed wire that came off the planter. All right, I've gone through those. Didn't really find anything else for issues. Tensioned up a couple other ones a little bit, but now I'm gonna fire this thing up, let the engine warm up while I grease it. And that critter down there is gonna wanna ride as soon as this thing starts to fire up. This is how you start a German Shepherd. The tractor just shut off on me, all on its own. First problem of the day, and I'm already sweating. Yesterday we dealt with sensor issues of all kinds on the planter, so today I'm hoping we wouldn't have to do that, but the tractor literally shut itself off after 10 seconds of idling. That is really weird. We'll check and see if it gives me a code or anything. Now I think I'm going into the right spot to find a code. Diagnostics, trouble codes, all pretty standard. We're gonna clear them all. Start fresh, no active, good. There's a lot of moving pieces. If one of them doesn't work right, things can go bad. Now I'm going along and just greasing all of the gauge wheel arms which control the depth. Those are the things I just adjusted. So there's one arm on each wheel, so there's 48 arms to grease on this whole planter. Just takes a few pumps, keeps those bushings moving free, keeps things from binding up. It's a good thing to do every few hundred acres. She's greased. Morning. It's fueled. It's got seed in it.
Okay.
And I greased it, so.
Then it should be dry enough, especially the north side.
Yeah, figured I'd go start on Brad and Mary's by the church.
Didn't have any breeze overnight here this morning, so.
No, but it's had sun for a few hours this morning now.
Yeah, so I think it'll be good shape.
Okay, let's plant. What do you think, Anna? I heard Didge back there barking at a squirrel in the woods. She didn't come say good morning to me. Didge likes to play in the woods and chase critters. Anna's much more of a people person, or a people dog. Yeah, people dog. Okay, you have a good day, Anna. I know it's a little sad, but I told you guys, 1 million subscribers, and then she gets to ride with me. We're not there yet. Luckily, most of the fields that I'm doing today are right close to home, so that is a big help. We got one we're gonna travel a little bit for. It sounds like Dad added 60 acres about 5 miles that way that he thought we should do this morning, which is a good plan. That is what we want to do. Go get that done before it rains tonight. Hopefully, I can beat the rain and get a bunch of these acres in. I've got my EPG on, all 3 of my hydraulics on. Markers ready, because I still use those on the ends. Got the brushes filled, and I have 0 sensors going off. This is gonna be a good day. I'm gonna head up and back into the corner here. It is 7:47 a.m. I use military time on my watch for 2 reasons. Number 1, because it just makes sense. There's no confusion. The time is just the time. Number 2, because I don't know how to get into my watch and change it back to the 12 hours, so I stick with the 24. All right, I think we're locked and loaded. 7:48 on the button. Here we go. Planter down, marker down, rolling forward. We have population, singulation. Row cleaners I'm going to leave up for the ends because they're not doing much in this soybean stubble conventional till anyway, so I'm going to keep them out of the mud. Population looks good. Seed spacing. We're good. Hammer down.
Well, I hope they don't run out of sensors.
Yeah, it went off once or twice yesterday, and I can see now it kind of comes and goes, but it's always the low one. It's doing that thing where it's 30 pounds lower than the rest of them, so something is up. Got a sensor, downforce sensor on row 19.
It can't
Going
be
bad.
everybody's machine like this. I don't
Shocking,
know how many high-speed planters they got, but if it was all of them, they could never keep up and wouldn't have enough sensors. That one time they told us they only had 10. I think we've taken 7 of those since then.
I'm sure they keep getting a lot in, because as far as I know, it is pretty much all the exact emerges.
I'm sure it's the exact emerges, but hopefully the others aren't having that issue as bad as ours. That 16-year-old didn't have that bad, did it, the first year?
16 row didn't have those. It had pneumatic downforce. Daryl.
Seed sensor or downforce?
It's a downforce deal, so it's running. It flashes at me once in a while, but it's the one where it's doing like where it's 30, 40 pounds lower than all the rest. And I know yesterday there was 1 or 2 rows that Ron looked at. He did some calibrating on them, so maybe he can call me and walk me through what he did there to see if it can clear it out. Run into the mud. We got a mud hole back here that I'm trying to work around. And I'm on the phone trying to deal with that, and I just jammed a bunch of stuff up with mud, so I'm hoping it clears out on its own, because if it doesn't, that's going to take half an hour to pull wheels off and dig them out. Things appear to be moving. Man, the fields are going to be a mess when we harvest them, the way we're going around all these mud holes. Ish. Planter's up. Tool page is open.
Okay, second to the bottom, does it say planter calibrations or something like that?
Yep, diagnostics and cal.
Yep, hit that.
Okay.
Gives you like EPG and different things.
Gauge wheel downforce.
Yes, hit that button.
Okay.
And that should tell you like the input voltage and pressure and all, or pounds and whatever, right?
Yep, and row 19 is the one giving me the problems, and it shows that it's zeroed out.
What does it say going across? Does it say like 4 something or 5 for voltage?
Yep, 4.9 volts, about the same as all the other rows.
The next one says what for voltage?
1 volt.
Okay, so at least, like yesterday, the one said 0 volts, so then I knew the sensor was funky. Is it?
No, that one, they've all been good except 19. Yeah, there's 19 going off again.
It is, okay.
Yeah, but it still shows, I got my margin set at 200 pounds.
Yep.
It's just that most of the time, and not even all the time, but most of the time, 19 is the low one, so it's reading 170 right now. Trying to get a hold of Ron here. I got another second downforce sensor that's acting up, but this one shows 0 voltage on the input side. So before I go waste my time just wiggling wires, Ron's gonna know exactly what to recalibrate or wiggle back there or whatever. So I got 1 row with 0 downforce and 1 row that's constantly a little bit low. The good news is we got about 45, 46 acres done. We're almost 9:15. That should have been the slowest part of the field back there. We had extra end rows on a few things. Hopefully the next hour and a half goes a little bit quicker. They're dropping left and right over here. Now I got 3 downforce sensors that are bad on me. Okay, we're up to 72 acres at the 2-hour mark right here. And I got a couple gauge wheels. Well, now they're all working just fine. But Dad has got some tools for me. He's coming up the road right now on the rock picker. He's got a 10mm for me. 5 to 4. Shouldn't have called you right as I was turning, but all those sensors are working now, so you can just drop those tools off with me. That one's got battery?
It does, like,
okay.
Hopefully it's got enough for a little while.
Okay, thank you.
You maybe shouldn't have stopped if they're all working.
I know it. Well, they come and go so much anyway, it doesn't matter. We're gonna check for depth a little bit here just to make sure everything's where we want it. You gotta go. Oh, there's one. That one seemed shallow, I thought.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't?
Deeper than my knuckle.
Okay.
I think that's plenty good.
Some days I find every single one I dig for, and other days I can't find any.
Yeah. That's always been the way it is.
There's one.
That row's good, for sure.
You think it's good? Well, this is a sandy spot, and there's plenty of moisture there, so. And as long as I'm out here, I'm gonna eyeball everything back here. Those sensors are working at the moment, so I got some tools to mess with them when they act up again. Here's a spot coming up that's probably has the potential to be a problem. You can see the field cultivator guy lifted up a bunch, so I'm gonna watch real close, specifically where these wing wheels are out on the end, because those tires will start pushing mud first, and as soon as that happens, you can start making a mess. I got the tractor spinning pretty good. Yep, planter's coming up. Oh, the tracks in the center started pushing. Come on, come on. See, we're not gonna have any crop in there this year. And I'm actually gonna just let it run dry for a second here, get that mud out of there, and now I'm gonna back up. That way I cleared some of the mud out that was between those row units. Regardless, I made a mess. So now I want to watch, make sure there's not a lot of mud packed in anywhere, especially on that one where it started pushing. Make sure everything's turning. All it takes is some dry dirt, and then things clear out. There we go, there's 100 acres in. I'm way off on my mark there, running the camera. 10:32, so 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's not so bad, and the better news is that should be most of the slowest part of the field. So the next, I do have to go back to the yard across the road and get seed, so that's gonna slow us down, but other than that, the rest of this field should go pretty quick. Over here, there's some, I don't know if you'd call it no-till, spring no-till. We strip-tilled it in the fall, banded our fertilizer in strips, and we're not tilling it this spring because it's kind of a dry hill. It's one of those spots that makes sense for us to no-till, so we're always kind of messing with it, playing with it, because when we till it, it blows around a lot. It never produces much of a crop anyway, so hopefully by keeping it sealed up, it stops it from blowing around, maybe even holds a little bit of moisture in, and the nutrients are already down there from last fall, except for the nitrogen, which I will be applying some liquid 28 or 32%, I don't remember, whichever one we can get around here, which we've never done before, and they're going to be bringing the applicator out probably next week, so that will be a learning experience for me, and you get to ride along. Just over 3 hours down, we got 114 acres in. I sure wish we could somehow magically not have to put seed in, but I've never discovered that magic, so we will. Here's an area of the strip tillage where we didn't do any of the spring tillage, so you can see the row units are planting directly into the stuff that got tilled last fall. That's got the fertilizer right underneath it. I split the difference and went in between where the soybean rows were last year. And I don't know, I think it's sweet. I'm gonna actually jump out and look at it. I hate to stop when I'm cruising right along like this, but I really do want to kind of inspect it because there's about 50 acres here that are like this, so I want to make sure I got enough downforce in and the seed's getting deep enough. The ground is kind of hard on top because we've had so much rain. So there you can see the trenches are opening up. There's the seed in there. There should be one more right there, it is, and one there. So our depth looks fine. It looks like the closing wheels are closing those trenches just fine. I don't see a problem there. And it looks like they're pretty well planting down that strip where we need them, because that's the strip the fertilizer's under. So heck, I don't know. I think it's doing pretty good. Doesn't feel like there's too much compaction from the wheels. Not too much from the closing wheels. We may need to come in here and use a herbicide application to get issues like this, try to stop them. There's a few dandelions and thistles coming, but pretty clean so far. You guys see that big red steer in the background? He sure is making me hungry. And since I'm out here, row 11 has been pretty inconsistent on me. It's been planting a lot of skips, and so I'm gonna just take it apart and make sure it's clean. Sometimes they just get a little something in them and they just get fussy. They like to be clean. You never know, sometimes there's a little rock or a piece of dirt or something in there that they pick up, and that can be enough to just throw something off on them. I got a couple rows where the downforce is acting goofy too, but for now it's been high, which is not nearly the problem as having them at 0, so I'm gonna let those go for now as well. Once they get back to doing the 0 thing, then I'll go out and take some stuff apart. But for now, extra downforce on 2 rows I'm not worried about it. It's better than having nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, half the planter not planting. Because one hydraulic didn't kick in, I guarantee that's what it's always been. Yep. Not a big deal, just a mild annoyance. There's my row 11. Whoops. Go back here. There's my row 11. You can see they're all in a row here. And it was way down at the bottom of that graph several times before. And I was seeing a lot of orange streaks in there. I think I got her fixed. We are 4 hours in. Let's check where we're at. 7:16, we started at 5:62. Carry the 144. I'm such an idiot. You can see right there. You can kind of tell we're down there on seed, so I'm gonna have to go in real soon here. That'll set us back 30-40 minutes, but you kind of need seed. It's important to have it in the planter. Man, what a beautiful day out here. We need this. It's been a tough spring. Way too much rain. A big storm that took down half our beautiful pine trees here on the edge of the driveway, and now we're pretty much gonna have to gut a bunch of the grove out to nothing. But it is what it is. We're gonna get this crop in the ground. Only has one arm. This gray powder here is actually a mixture of talcum powder with a little bit of graphite in it, so it helps to lubricate the internal moving parts and pieces inside the planter. I killed the motor. Didn't have it running fast enough. Of course, it needs a little choke. It's a Honda. Well, the planter's full. That's going to get me about 250 acres, but we're also going to flip the auger around and put a tote right into the cart, because the next time I need seed, which is going to be in several hours, about 250 acres, and 5 pieces of ground, we're going to put it in the cart. Back at it. Not far away. I'm almost to the field already. Let's try this old trick. Works every time.
June 10 over July and July 15 over July. The financial markets today, the Dow is down 290.
We're 6 hours in. About 214, 15 acres down. Am I gonna make it? Yeah, I'll make it just fine. But I'm not gonna have the planter down when I go through. No problem. That's it for this field. 229 acres down. Now I gotta fold up and commute a half mile that way over to that field there. So we're getting there. We're at least getting something done. Field number 2. This one should be around 65 or so acres. Then we got a little 7-acre piece that is sort of attached but unattached, split by a ditch. Sometimes my feet get sweaty. Gotta air them out. Not quite 4 o'clock. I've got this big field done. I still gotta jump across the ditch here, but the only way to get there with the planters through the yard and back down. So I'm gonna grab some fuel. We got 297 acres in. Gonna grab some fuel, check on something else in the yard, and then keep trucking, keep hauling, keep planting. We gotta sign some papers and put some money down on a building here too, so that we can get on the list and in order today. So right now the rough plan, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but we're planning on probably going with a 72 wide by 180 long. Feels like I mentioned that at the beginning of this video, did I? Anyway, either Dad or I will be here to sign for that and write a check when the shed guy gets here. Another quick 15-minute, I don't know if it's a setback or not. It feels like it because you want to be moving, be planting, but it's also necessary to have fuel. The part that really sucks is how the seed and the fuel tend to disappear as you keep going. I've got a 1 mile drive south to hit that 7 acres, and then I fold up again, and I'm heading 5 miles east, which is as far east as we go. And then I'm gonna knock out more, but right now, I got an important phone call actually I gotta make, so you guys don't get to see that 7 acres. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll catch up with you afterwards. You got to talk to Brad, so we're on the list for that building?
Yep, we are. Yeah, there's going to be 3 more tomorrow.
Oh, the last hour's been a little bit slow with having to put fuel in and then head down the road, plant only 7 acres, and then fold up again, come 5-6 miles up the road. Now I've got 60 acres here in 2 pieces. This is cut by a ditch as well. But the good news is, as long as things keep going good, there's a clump left from the digger. As long as things keep going good, I should be able to knock this out definitely before dark. It's almost 5 o'clock now. Knock this out before dark and then head to the last field for the day. So this is 60 acres in 2 pieces. The last field is 126, 127 acres. So we'll see what we get here. Well, there's a few more acres down. Now I'm folded up. Gonna head back the other direction towards home. Hop into what's gonna be our last field of the day. That one's 126, 27 acres. I would like to knock it out tonight. At least I got some daylight left. It's almost 7 o'clock. The last couple hours have been pretty slow because this is a slow field. So once I get the end rows knocked out on that piece, that should be a pretty fast field. Just did a little bit of math. If I can get that field knocked out tonight, that would put us around 470, 471 acres done today, which would be probably our 2nd biggest day ever. We had a day where I'd have to ask Dad if he remembers exactly what the number was, but this was 10 years ago with a 16-row planter, and we started at 5 a.m. and we went until 3-4 in the morning to finish up before the rains hit. And I don't remember exactly how many acres we did, but it was a bunch. It was a long day. We took turns sleeping in the pickup at the end of the field. Once we got to nighttime, someone would sleep for 2 hours and the other guy would run tractor, and that was a good experience. Now I've got Bluetooth that connects right to the speakers, so all I'd have to do is turn on a podcast or my favorite rock band, maybe some Black Label Society, and I could go to town till 3 a.m. if I needed to. Probably not for 2 nights in a row. Yep, according to my post, it's correct. 21 and a 30. Oh man, it looks like I hit rush hour in the city here. That old fire truck's been sitting there for a long time. Pretty cool buggy. Oh. Hit a rough spot. You guys all right down there? I didn't enjoy that either. Here we go. Yep, I know row number 19 has a downforce issue. So do rows 4 and 7, but they kind of come and go. Sometimes they're low, sometimes they're high, sometimes they're 0, sometimes they're perfect. "12 hours in now. According to my math, that's about 377 acres. The last few hours have been slow, and I'm driving a little slower in this field because it's corn on corn. So it was actually, I think this is the 3rd year on corn on this field. Never produces great soybeans, so we're gonna try corn 3 years in a row, and a lot of times that gets rid of some of the diseases in the soil, whatever it's carrying over. It just seems like you get a big boost in the soybeans whenever you have a field like that. And so we're gonna try corn again for the 3rd year here before we go back to soybeans next year, but it's a little bit lumpier. You can see that, it's a little bit of a wetter field. It was tilled a little bit differently. It's got some of those root balls in it from corn last year. So I am driving slower because the ride quality on the row units is not as good. So that's gonna slow me down some, but we've got about 100 acres left in this field. It's gonna go quick now. Oh, except I am gonna need seed here in about 30 acres. Hello.
Hello. Hi there.
Hi.
Did you get moved to Persons?
Yep, I'm on Persons. I was just gonna call you soon. I could use seed in about 30 acres, or I'd assume there's plenty of room in there, so when it's the same variety, you could probably swing up any time. By far, the best candy on the planet, peanut M&Ms. You can't argue it. If you have a different opinion, you can post it down below. But I'm not going to listen to it, because you're wrong. Our sunshine seems to have left us. It should still be there. It's only... Give me a minute. 8:30, 8:24, so there should be sun there, but there's clearly not. Before I throw a hoodie on, jump out to go put some more seed in, I'm gonna cover this shirt up, but you guys can get this on our website or at farmfocus.com. There's a link below. Shameless plug. That'll work. I've got one gauge wheel arm that I want to check on, but I got to get the planter raised up to make sure it's not loose. I think it's probably fine, but just kind of eyeballing where the bushing is at, it might be backing out on me. Good enough. That'll do. It just keeps getting better out there. You see them? There they go. Can't be many acres left now. There's the last strip across this field. Once again, I've talked about this when we harvest soybeans, but I don't know what the phenomenon is with when it gets dark, I slow down. I don't even think about it. Then I look up at the gauges on the post there, and I'm like, what? I'm driving 2 miles an hour slower than I was during the daylight. It's weird. I do the same thing when I'm running a soybean header. Like I slow down. But there it is. I am now done for the day. It is 10:25. We got 472 acres done on the day. So not a bad day. I mean, really, honestly, it looks like the weather has settled down on us a little bit. The chance of rain is not nearly as good anymore, so we're not so worried about it. Plus we only have one field of corn left to go now, about 100 acres, 90 to 100 acres in that field now, and that's it for corn. Like, we just ripped through this once we got moving. So hey, we're happy. We do have a few more acres of soybeans this year than we do corn. That's just the way our rotation worked out for this year, which is fine, but that does quicken things a little bit when it comes to planting here, especially on corn. But now looks like the weather's decent. Honestly, that last field we were gonna do anyway is still too wet. I mean, this one was kind of too wet yet, but we're pushing just because it is as late as it is, and we have got to get this stuff in. So we are kind of done waiting for perfect conditions. Even cooler than 472 acres today is the like 330 that I got in yesterday, meaning we punched in 800 acres of corn in the last 2 days, my last 2 videos here. Tomorrow we're hopefully, if it's not raining, we are hopefully going to finish up that last 100 acres of corn and switch over to soybean. I do have room in the shop for this thing, so I'm gonna put it in there just in case we got that rain coming tomorrow. Then we can reset all the gauge wheels and grease some stuff, and we can't switch it over to beans quite yet, unfortunately, but at least we can do some other stuff. Well, I feel kind of like I should have more energy for you guys. I should be more excited, like, yeah, woo, almost 500 acres in a day. 800 in the last 2, but I'm tired. I had a long day of sitting in that seat, not doing a lot, and that wears a guy out more than one would think until you actually try it. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget about the Anderson Bash, which is the country music concert that we're doing right here, Alexandria, Minnesota, July 1st, free will donation, with all proceeds going towards grain bin, rescue equipment, and safety training. Thanks for watching. Oh, there's more information on that down below. There should be a link somewhere.